here, 3 blacks here. You can show them, and apparently you mix them. Now, if you do this pretty quickly, it looks like a pretty random little mixing procedure, as if you're not paying any attention to what you're doing. But the red and black cards are still separated. Now, a nice thing about this is because you picked up the red cards and placed them on top of the black cards, and then do the false mix like this. Oh, what a mess. Look, I'll just randomly mix them up. If you spread them out this way, the red cards will now be on this side, the black cards on this side. The audience doesn't know this. They think you just have randomly mixed red and black cards. So as you lay them out like this, one last time, switch the leader packets, snap the fingers, and for your big finish, you show once again, reds follow the reds, black follow the blacks. That's the end of the standard follow the leader. Something I discovered later is oil and water. What a great trick. I don't do it as a whole routine by itself, but I think it makes a nice follow-up to follow the leader. So you've just finished the last 3. It makes sense to show, yep, look at that. Every black card on this side, as you do that, you separate 5 and 5. As you put the 2 groups of 5 together, you hold a little finger break, separating the packets. Then you pick up the red cards, same idea. Take 5 in one hand, 5 in the other hand, show these. This is the end of the trick, remember. There should be no attention whatsoever on the cards. They've already seen what you've got. They've all followed the leaders. As you square these up, you get a second break now between these 2 groups of 5 red cards. So what you've got, 5 black cards, a group of 10 in the middle, and 5 red cards. If you can somehow pull out that middle section, you're in a good position. That's exactly what I do. As I turn the cards this way, all I do is I grab that middle section with my right thumb, and the inner corner of the upper group of 5 sort of pivots on the right thumb like this, and I'm actually just pulling out the middle section of 10. But all that's done as you turn the hands upwards. So just by separating the hands into 2 groups, what you've done is you've got 5 red cards on the face, 5 black cards below, the exact same thing here, 5 red and 5 black. But like I said, you just finished the trick, you showed the cards, casually separate them as the applause begins to die down. Now you're ready for a nice oil and water finish. So here's an idea, as if it just came to you. I'll mix them, one of these, one of these. Now this is a nice idea, to leave them jogged, leave them stepped, one at a time, very, very cleanly. No question about it, the cards are being mixed. Apparently red, black, red, black, red, black, all the way through. What you're really doing is just mixing the 5 red cards with 5 more red cards, and then 5 black cards with 5 black cards. But by leaving them spread and you square them up 2 at a time, mentally I count 2, try not to move your lips, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Then 2, I make a little step, 4, 6, 8, 10. So that separates 10 from 10. It looks like they're all squared up. Then I reach in and I take the top card of the lower 10, the bottom card of the upper 10. One will be of each color, as it should be. That's where you make the separation. Then you say, but if I snap the fingers, remember, the cards will always follow the leaders. And here, I like to hold it in the right hand, thumb them up this way. The only reason for doing that is I want the index corners to be in the right orientation. In other words, if you do it with your left hand and you thumb them off this way, all of these cards will be upside down. Not a big deal. If it doesn't bother you, don't worry about it. But if you can, why not put them in the right hand, thumb them off this way, everything could be examined. You've got a nice finish to your follow the leader routine. This is the 3-to-1 ropes. Basically what it is the rainbow ropes. When I was a child, oh man, it goes back a while. I was probably 9 years old when I got my first set of rainbow ropes. That's the method. By the way, when I did the performance and I said it's a brand new trick, I've never tried it before, did I convince you? I was acting. Huh? I've been doing this for a long, long time. A few things that I've added. The original rainbow ropes is this. What you really have is not 3 identical sized pieces of rope. You've got 1 long rope and 2 short ropes. Now up close you can see exactly what this is. There's a big long rope like this, sort of like a Z. And then the short pieces of rope just get looped over like this and like this. So obviously, if you hold it like this, it looks exactly as if you've got 3 pieces of rope. Now just to make it a little bit easier to follow, here's an idea. I'm going to use red rope. Now remember, this is only for explanation purposes. I don't want to see anybody out there performing this with a big long white piece and then 2 little red pieces. No good. Very, very bad. So that goes like this, that's the preparation. Now the rainbow ropes, what it is it's 1 long piece of rope that's about 1/3 red, the middle third is white, the last third is blue. Then the small pieces, it's got half red, half white. This one is half white, half blue. So if you hide where the small pieces join the long pieces, it looks exactly as if you've got 3 pieces of rope, one red, one white, and one blue. By magic, they all blend together into one piece of tricolored rope. This is how I learned the rainbow ropes. It said, hold the ropes like this, prepare it. Either it's got to be an opening trick, which means you walk out on stage, hello, welcome to my world of mystery, and you begin with this trick. Or what I used to have to do is prepare the ropes like this, put it on my table, and then hide it with other props. I had my crystal silk cylinder here. I had my Grant's potato box there. The Glorpy handkerchief would cover one end. But to me, that's still not real practical because you'd have to pick up the rope from the table like this before you can go into it. So I decided it would be more practical to somehow prepare the ropes and be able to do it any time during the routine without having to pick them up off the table in the proper order. So here's what I came up with. You do this. All you have to do is get all of the ends together like that. And if the rope is about the right length, you can tie a single big giant overhand knot, okay, with all 3 ropes. And if you tighten it just in the right way, you can take the parts where the secret ends join and you can hide that inside of the knot. Now don't forget, when you do this for real, either it will be a red, white, and blue rope or 3 different colored ropes, or all of the ends will be white. The point is, you start clean, you reach into your bag, wherever you keep your props, you bring this out, you're ready to start. Okay? First thing you do, of course, is unbundle the bundle. That's very easy. You just untie the knot, and in the act of untying the knot, your left hand hides where you've got the secret loops, and you go like this. So that's pretty natural. Now you find one of the single ends, in this case one of the white ends, and you do basically a professor's nightmare type count. So you say, let's see, 3 pieces of rope. Yep, there's number 1. As you're showing number 1, in fact, even before you separate rope number 1, you could prepare by taking one of the looped ends, clipping it between the first and second fingers, and the extra end here. So now you've separated this group of 3 from this group of 3 by the thumb and the first and second fingers. You could do that. You don't really have to, but it makes it a little bit easier to do the false count. So it still looks like you've just unbundled the ropes. You say, watch closely. Here's rope number 1. As you come to take rope number 2, it's the false count. The first end is held with the thumb and first finger. There's a big separation between the first finger and the rest of the fingers, the second finger in particular. And when you come, you leave the single rope behind into the left thumb. At the same time, you clip the ends like this between the first and second fingers. As you separate your hands, it looks like you've just taken a second rope. And then you go back and you take a third rope, which is the same as the first rope. So it looks like one at a time you just count the ropes. 1, 2, 3. So the audience believes you have 3 pieces of rope, apparently all the same size. What you're going to do now is something I learned from Martin Lewis. Back in the old days when I used to do the standard rainbow ropes, I would tie the standard overhand knot with the little pieces. I'd do the old cut and restored rope thing where I'd loop the rope around my fist and then reach into the pocket for magic dust, getting rid of the extra knots. Worked perfectly well. This is something Martin Lewis showed me many years ago, and I've never forgotten it. It's a great idea. You tie 2 pop-off knots. Now here's the pop-off knot. You have the little piece, you reach underneath the big piece like this, you grab one end of the little piece and you bring it out. And you're going to tie an overhand knot with the little piece around a bite of the big piece like that. Now you tie one very loosely. That's actually very loose. And after you tie it, you pull so it's all ready to drop off. It's very, very loose. It doesn't matter which one is loose and which one is tight as long as you remember which is which. You might want to make the first one tight. That's up to you. Then you do the same thing. You tie the second knot, but the first one was loose, so the second one I'm going to make very tight. Remember, you start like this. Your right hand reaches underneath. You grab the end. You pull it out towards you, and you just tie an overhand knot around a bite. And because the first one, like I said, was tied loosely, this one will be quite tight. Now, when you think about this, you've got 2 pop-off knots. If I blow, those ends are going to fall right off. What you do is you blow on the tight knot first. By blowing on the tight knot, if you pull, of course, the loose knot's going to drop. Just remember which is which. So I'll blow on the tight one here. As soon as I blow on this, I pull. The loose knot over there should drop. That's it. Pretend like you didn't notice.